Hello. I think it's on. I just pull up the group just to make sure, since it's so weird for us, like doing it on Be Live here.
Yes. It hasn't shown up yet, but I think there's a delay. So.
Okay.
There we are.
Are we on?
We're on. There ain't no turning back now.
No turning back. Shit, guys. You better get ready. Okay. All right, you guys. We are so excited. I hope you're having an incredible Monday. I hope your week is off to an incredible start and you guys are just high vibe as ever. And so I'm here with Olivia because we are so on the same page with everything we're about to talk about today. We actually just connected recently, and I was just on her podcast last week, which you guys will hear in January. So make sure you guys go subscribe to Soul in the Raw. And we had just been like going back and forth about this topic because I had made a post in the group the other day, and she's like, girlfriend, like this is everything that I'm about. I would love to talk about this too. And so we were both in here and wanted to share with you guys. So if you do pop up, let me know you're here, say hey, say what's up, let us know who's here. I'm probably going to check on Facebook as well, just make sure I catch any comments. And yeah, so if any of you guys don't know who I am, if you're new to the group, my name is Bensette, and I'm an intuitive life and business coach and the founder of this group. And Olivia, why don't you take the reins and introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes. Hi, guys. Hi. Well, thanks for Autumn for having me. I'm super excited to share on this topic. We're going to riff on it. We have like some notes, but really it's just going to be us riffing on whatever's coming up intuitively for us, since we're both very into that, like flow with it, go with it. Nothing is being held back. We're both very transparent in our experiences. But I'm Olivia Celine, for those of you who don't know me, since it's my first time hanging out in this group. I am also a life coach, and I am also a co-host of the podcast Soul in the Raw, which Autumn was on, and that one will air, I believe it's the week of the 15th of January. I know I had a couple people message me like, when's Autumn's going to be live? So they're super excited to hear it too. But thank you for having me. I'm super, super pumped to share with you guys today.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. That's so cute. All right, so let's just jump right in, because I know you guys are excited to talk about this topic. I know you guys are excited. So if there is anything that you guys hear while we are on that you connect with, or you're like digging, or you want to talk more about, or you have questions, please just post them so then we can answer them and get to you for sure. So let's just jump right in. We're just talking about some warning signs.
Yeah. Go for it.
Guys, so some warning signs that, me and Olivia have both come from network marketing backgrounds. We can share a little about the company that we both came from. So we both came from Beachbody. We were both Beachbody coaches. And funny enough, we both pretty much coaches for about the same amount of time. Coaches for over 3 years, give or take a bit. And our experiences were, although different, we were on different teams, different experiences, different parts of the world, all that different stuff. We both ended up having a very similar, soul experience, heart experience, transition. And so we really just wanted to share with you guys our experience. We wanted to share with you guys, from the heart, in all transparency and rawness, what it was like for us, because as we've been growing, we've been learning more about it, and we've been healing a lot of these spaces, because there's a lot of things that had happened in that space that did affect us as we transitioned and played a part in why we did make that transition. But we wanted to be super open, super transparent, and just like raw about this experience. So please, you guys, just know that before we even get started, that everything we're saying is with a full heart. Like, we are here to give love, to help you. We want to see you guys succeed, and we want to provide our own experiences as lessons and guidance and support. And hopefully you guys can relate, and you can take something away. If there's something from here you can take away, that's beautiful. If the rest you leave, that's totally okay. But just know that anything we do say on here is with our best intentions.
Absolutely. And that's, kind of like with that too, I think that a key piece is to remember, I still have friends that are in Beachbody, a lot of network marketing friends. A lot of my clients are Beachbody coaches. A lot of my clients are network marketers. So hear our heart in all of this. Like, this is simply our experience. And so we hope that you guys share your truth and whatever your experience might look like. But we're almost talking about the things that we feel like a lot of people aren't talking about. We felt like when we went through this soul shift, this very unique experience for ourselves through network marketing, we were both die hard, bleed blue, like put it on my tombstone, like going in the ground, like dying a Beachbody coach. And not that I don't love them, love the products, but our experience with it, we felt alone in it. We were going through some soul stuff. We were figuring out something doesn't feel in alignment here. Something doesn't feel right. And like, holy shit, how do I know that this is okay? Because around us, everything was saying that how we were feeling was not okay. So we want to create that safe space for you guys to start to really do the inner work, which we'll get to at the end too, of if there are warning signs or there are things that don't feel good, how to either move forward and walk away maybe from something that's no longer serving you, or simply run your business from a different space of like, okay, this doesn't feel good. How can I make this feel good? And changing things and running your business differently than maybe everyone else is. So yeah, that's kind of the piece I would say on that too.
I love that. Like, if that's all you got from the video, you guys, that's gold on its own. So we can kind of jump right in. I know that Olivia was before we jumped on, and we kind of had a little chat before we jumped on here just to make sure that we were on the same page and kind of had an idea of like what we were talking about. And Olivia jumped on and she was sharing a little bit about how, and we want to say this in the most best way possible, but there was a lot of fear in the way that we were feeling the business was run. More or less, there's a word that can kind of come up, which can be brainwashed. And we say this with best intention always, because it can have a negative connotation to it. But when you recognize as well, negative thing, you can recognize this, it opens room for change. And without that awareness, we couldn't make that shift. And so, Olivia can speak a little bit on it. And my experience as well is just, I know for me in the business, I had been, oh my goodness, within the 3 years, I definitely experienced many fear-based, what are they? I don't quite know how to put the words around it, but I experienced a lot of fear-based situations in the business with everything from, just running from checklists. And like, this is something I was talking to Olivia about as well. If you guys are coaches in the industry, you've probably been told to use a checklist. And you guys, this is something I've had to transition back into my own business, and where this traumatization has kind of come from me. And I want to be honest, because I have had traumatized situations in this business that I've had to heal so I can effectively move forward them as a life coach and as a business coach, where I'm helping you guys do this in a really beautiful way. And the business itself, to invest words, the business itself in network marketing can be very masculine energy. And what masculine energy means is it's a little bit more of control. It's a little bit more of like the straight and narrow. Like if you picture masculine, it's like point A to point B. And feminine is very like flowy. So if you guys are unfamiliar about what the energies are and like the difference between masculine and feminine that we're going to be talking about quite a bit on this call, masculine is definitely more in control. It's a lot more just like type A. It's just like from here to here, and it's very focused. It's strong. It's kind of stubborn. And feminine, it's a lot of creativity. It's a lot of trust. It's surrender. It's flow. It's a really beautiful space. It's really the form of all life, and so it's really beautiful and flowing. And that's kind of the difference. And sometimes, if people are having too much feminine, we can tend to be too flowy, a little lazy, and we don't actually take action, right? And that's why we need to harmonize and have that masculine, because that masculine allows us to have that control. It allows us to take action, and it allows us to create checklists and make sure things are actually getting done and we're taking action towards our goals. But that's why it's important to harmonize the both of them. But what we experienced was a heavy, heavy side in the masculine in network marketing, and what that did, in not an intentional way, but like Olivia mentioned, is that most businesses, this is just something to be aware of, is that most of network marketing businesses are run by men, right? They're run by men. So it makes sense. These are the trainings and the things and the feelings and like the energy vibes that are kind of put into place. And so for me, I know that I personally felt a little bit traumatized by some things like checklists. Having to finish a checklist in a specific thing. And don't get me wrong, you guys, this is something that I'm bringing back into my life now, and I want to be open about that, because this has been a struggle for me. That has been tough for me to find it within me to put that structure back into my life. There was a period of time where I was feeling as if I didn't finish that checklist, I was a failure. I was feeling if I didn't finish every single thing by the end of the day, whether that had to do with my own workouts, if it meant, reaching out to somebody, if it meant reading personal, like, it didn't matter what it was on the list, whether it was for me or somebody else. I felt that if there was one thing, even one thing off that list, I was a failure. And that was really, really difficult, because when you're following that every single day and every single month, and as a human, we're just humans, right? Like, it's not perfect. Life happens, and sometimes that list isn't going to get done that day. And that's part of like that feminine energy that we want to talk a little bit about more later, and that we've tapped into, because I know for me, and Olivia can tap into this as well, but for me, I know that as much as I will set to-do lists, and I will set like lists of things that need to get done that day, and I have projects to work on, and like things need to happen. If I wake up that day, or if I go to do something and I'm not feeling it, and it doesn't feel aligned, and like I need a day of rest, or it's not the right day for this project, or it's not the right day to, for clients, or it's not the right day to be making videos, or whatever it is, because there's so many different things that you're going to be doing in your business. If it's not the right day for it, I'm okay with like letting that go. Like, I'm okay with saying, that's okay, I can move it to tomorrow. Like, that's the joy of having, this business. I need to trust what my intuition is telling me. I need to trust my guide, trust that inner, my inner guide saying, hey girl, like, today, this is not the day for you to be pouring into others. You need to pour into you.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that that's the kind of the biggest piece, because I think that's like a huge piece, right? Of the very fear-based, of the feeling like a failure based on XYZ. For me, my self-worth was in question. And that's when I started to feel like, ooh, something doesn't feel right here, because I remember I am a very words of affirmation, a very like praise-driven person. It's my love language. It is what makes me feel alive, is feeling and being told, you are doing a great job, or being told that you are a leader, or getting to see my name on a leaderboard, or getting to be shouted out for rank advancements, or getting shouted out as the #1 recruiter of the month, or whatever it might be. And truthfully, you guys, like, hear from my heart, like, I genuinely believed in everything I was doing, like down to every little piece of it. I would get a to-do list done like nobody's business. I would miss parties. I would miss events. I would do whatever. I was the queen of sacrifice to make sure that I made shit happen. And I was successful, right? Successful. I made very great money. I rank advanced up to a decent amount. But when I stopped, and I started to realize like my self-worth is completely dependent upon how other people are telling me I matter, that is when something didn't feel right for me, is I started to feel like I wasn't successful. I literally heard comments about, how can you call yourself a leader if you don't hit XYZ? Even though I was leading a very great team, I had the most incredible team culture. I loved my coaches more than anybody's business, but it felt like I would cry. I just remember so many nights of crying myself to sleep thinking like I don't matter, or I am not enough, even though I'm hustling my ass off. I am working like, oh my God, I was working so many hours a day. I was doing all of the right things. I was crossing off that to-do list. I was sending out the messages. I was making the sacrifices. I was doing the things, and I had hit a wall. And I was just like, what is wrong with me? And I kept getting told, because the only thing I would do is I would talk to other coaches about it. And what I was being told by other leaders in the company is that, you just don't believe in it enough, or you're not trying hard enough, or you're not doing enough personal development, like do more of this, or send out more messages, or, X, Y, Z. It was just do more, do more, do more. It wasn't like, hey, girlfriend, take a step back and maybe do some journaling, or maybe figure out what feels off for you, or figure out a different way. It was just preached at me to do more, do more, do more. So the thing that had shifted for me, which I know Autumn feels the same way, is that I started to look for the outside sources. I started to say, and I don't know why, because I can be a very much so follower at times, where I will just like, if someone tells me not to do it, I won't do it. And I had to look at it and say, the fact that I am questioning my self-worth and I'm crying myself to sleep when I am working my ass off, something is out of alignment. And so I looked to other leaders in network marketing. I looked to other leaders outside of network marketing, just entrepreneurs in general, and started to say like, they're running successful businesses in a way that feels really good for them. what needs to shift for me to run my business from a space of feeling good so that I can wake up every day and know that I matter and know that I'm enough, whether my quota for the month or whether my rank says that I am. Because again, like I was making really damn good money and I had gotten that far, and you would think like, oh, you should be happy because that's what everyone said. Like, well, you want to make money and you want to do X, Y, Z. You should be happy. But I didn't feel fulfilled because nobody could see that. I was making money. Yes, I was paying my bills. I was doing the things. I was buying the things. I was experiencing things, which was great. But my love tank felt completely empty, right? I wasn't getting words because I all of a sudden didn't matter anymore because I wasn't rank advancing, or I didn't matter because I wasn't hitting what everyone else was supposed to be hitting. And I had to reevaluate at that point of like, something's got to change because this is not sustainable for me because I feel like shit.
Dude, like you nailed that. Like I can't even, it's so hard for me to even put into words how accurate everything is that you said, and like how aligned like I am with you, because I was queen of sacrifice. Like I gave up every single thing that I could. I don't know how many people I put on the back burner, how many events I didn't go to, how many nights I stayed in, events I left early from, like the sacrifice, the days I woke up, like I gave everything to my team, the I created that nobody showed up to, that nobody responded to, the time, like the amount of stuff that I created within the hopes that I could truly provide love and guidance to my team. Like I was there, I did as well build up a beautiful business, and I feel like it's so similar, like our stories are very similar. I was listening to you talk about me, and so it does come from a really strained place when you give all of you. You give all of you, like, everything you had. Like you literally have nothing left, to the point where you are left maybe 5 minutes for your spouse and maybe 5 minutes for a shower, because I felt like that's the space that I was at. And if you're not moving ahead, and that again was it, when I stopped, when I decided to question myself, and I was questioning my business, when I was questioning what my intentions were, and I was questioning where I was moving on to next, and like what my purpose was behind all this. Like, what am I actually helping people do? Like, what are they loyal to me for? What's setting me apart? When I started things, I pulled back from the Success Club, and like I had reached All-Star Legend. Like I had reached these things. This was non-negotiable. The amount of stress that I lived in every single month from the start to the end, trying to make something happen, was unbelievable. But if I think I slowed down and I took my foot off that gas a little bit, not necessarily in business in general, but just in my process in that specific business, because I had to question myself. I wasn't pulled out yet. The love stops, right? And I started to feel, and I can, if you guys are relating to any of this, please like give me some like emojis that have like this girl, like she's my girl. I know that my self-worth, around the time that I really started feeling depleted, my self-worth was so depleted, and it was box. It was part of the fact that I was not receiving any recognition, any love, and it wasn't because I wasn't hustling. I was probably hustling, if not more than any that were receiving that recognition, because I was home all the time doing this 15, 16, 18 hours a day sometimes. But that wasn't enough because I wasn't at a specific rank to receive, being on calls in this space. So there was that area for sure, but it came down to when I was expected to sell a $40 challenge pack, or a $4 commission challenge pack, or a product that was worth maybe $60, and so you'd make, I don't know, $20. I'm really bad at math.
I think it was like a 25% commission. So like $140 challenge pack in America, because I know you're in Canada, was like $40 commission. And something that was like $60, I think it was maybe 15. I don't know if it's changed at all, but yeah.
Yeah, so you're making about, so it's not even just what you're selling, right? It's not about the $100 package that you're selling. It's the $40 commission you're making. And you're expected and told, right? You're expected to live in your inbox 24/7. You have to get back to them like this, right away. You can't let them wait, otherwise they're going to go somewhere else. You have to answer right away. You have to live in your inbox. You have to provide and provide and provide. And that is just what you're told to do for a lifetime. No, that was the problem because I thought that that's what I had to do. I don't know how many times I can remember me sitting in the car about to go into Walmart or go out to shop or something, and me saying, "Sorry, Derek, I have to finish this message. Like, if I don't do this, she's gonna go somewhere else. Like, I need this. I have to do this. Sorry, Derek, I'm just running a little bit late out the door. Sorry, I'll get to bed. Sorry, I'm just running." I don't know how many times that happened to me because I was living in my inbox, and to the point where people were asking me questions. I would take the time, I would take all my energy and knowledge that I poured into to go and learn. I'd invest into mentors and trainers. I'd invest into courses. I invested into myself. I spent the time and the energy learning the knowledge on podcasts, like a million different things, right? Absorbing this information and knowledge. And then I would provide it not only already in a space where I was already giving so much. I was sending out newsletters. I was doing, my groups. I had a community. I was creating ebooks and guides. I already was giving and giving and giving a ton as it was. So then on top of it, to be in a space where I felt expected to jump into my inbox and answer any question, create any meal plan, do any kind of, extra work on top of it that would take me sometimes 20, 30 minutes, if not more, to answer, and then not as much get as a thank you, not even get any kind of appreciation for it, sometimes get ignored. And it's just, you're spending all your time and then you end up depleted and you can't really move your business forward. And it's crazy, but that was something that also really traumatized me in this space. And it actually held me back a little bit because I didn't want to spend all my time in my inbox. And that was, again, where, like Olivia said, is you start to question yourself and say, there has to be a better way to run business.
Right.
There has to be a better space to run business from. Like, what boundaries are you setting? Like, what is off here? There's got to be a better way. And that's when I also started looking for outside sources. And it was probably after we talked about this beforehand, and I really want to share with you guys. When I was at Summit, the second year that we were at Summit, and we were in Nashville, it was the second year that we were there. I wasn't quite a coach when they had it before. And we were out. I was out with my boyfriend. He came with me, and we were out for supper on a very last night. And I'm not kidding you guys. I spent the entire night on my phone trying to lock in Success Club 5 because I felt that in order for me to be taken seriously, for me to be at this summit where I'm trying to have people join me and see me as this leader and, create this momentum, this positive momentum, that I had to do this. And I will never forget the feeling of how crappy I felt after, because not only did I make sales that were inauthentic, even though at the time I truly genuinely felt that I was serving a purpose and she was going to benefit, and this was so good for her, cared about what I was doing, I knew that the way that it was going down wasn't aligned. And that's when I started questioning. And I hit that sale. I even went back to the room and I bonus buy. Derek fell asleep, and I was there stressing out, bonus buying at the time, trying to figure out what the time was between where I was and where head office was. And it went through, and the next morning I did not feel fulfilled, you guys. I felt awful. I started questioning everything. And when I went to the airport, that is when I started to begin to look for outside mentors and outside sources and be like, there has to be a different way, because depleting myself every single month, not honoring my priorities, putting myself on the back burner, stretching myself thin, that there's going to be a different way. It cannot be hustle like this for now, and then it's later, and it wasn't adding up to me. And I think I just relate to that.
So true. And it's so funny you can remember that moment, because for me, what comes up is the moment that I was in a course for how to run your business differently. I had started to have these feelings of, for me too, I think the hard part was yes, the products worked. Yes, I believed in it. But for me, health and fitness, it's so many people's zone of, like you said, zone of brilliance, their zone of genius. For me, it wasn't. And I was almost having to live this double life of sorts of making sure I was getting a workout done, make sure I had a six pack, make sure I was getting results, and I used to tell it to my coaches. I'm so sorry if you're my coach and you're on here, but your body is your business. And I remember just feeling this insane pressure all the time to look a certain way, to eat a certain way, because I had to be XYZ. Now, some people, that's their life and they live by that shit. And by all means, girlfriend, rock it, because this world needs you and they need what you have to say. For me, I was always leading calls on personal development, on belief, on passion, on mindset work, soul work, all of that kind of stuff. So that was more like where I was feeling called to be and how God was using me. But the crazy thing is I remember the moment, it was New Year's Eve, and me and my success partner at the time, who's now my business partner, funny enough, we were like, okay, we've hit Success Club every single month since we started. Like it was this horrible moment of like, what do I do? Like we're thinking about leaving anyway at that point. Like we hadn't said it to anybody, because like a huge piece I want to point out before we go into the action steps is like, you aren't allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to feel a certain way. You just need to do, again, more personal development, more talk to more people, do more and more and more. You're not allowed to feel that way. It's not recognized. But I remember like, okay, let's just not hit it and see what happens. I was sweating. It like gave me a like knot in my stomach. I was like, holy shit, we're actually not going to hit this. And I remember being so nervous, feeling like such a failure. But her and I were like, well, if we're not going to do it, because we were at like Success Club 4, had refused to bonus buy anymore, because we used to do that all the time. Like bonus buying is like how you hit Success Club, which is so sad to even think about because it's so illegal in the network marketing world. But like, it's okay. Like do what you got to do, you know? Like it's going to be okay, but it so doesn't feel good. And so we linked arms and we didn't hit it. And I remember waking up the next day. I remember like clear as day, going outside, taking my dog on a walk and realizing the sun still came up. I still had the man of my dreams laying next to me. I was like happy. I was like, the sun was shining. My dog was so cute walking around. Like it was so weird how I was like, holy crap. Life goes freaking on. And it made me realize you can run a business, whether it's network marketing in the company you're in now, in a different company, or in your own business as well. You can run a business that feels really damn good for you. That looks like it doesn't matter to somebody else, but in your heart and your soul and in alignment with yourself, like it feels really good for you, even if you didn't hit X, Y, Z, because it's in alignment with you. And the sun is still going to come up the next day, even if you missed a freaking goal, and you're still amazing and enough just as you are, and your self-worth shouldn't be dependent upon your goals. So that's what I have for that. I know this is getting long.
That's so true. I like completely relate. I had the same moment. Yeah, I hit it like 2 years in a row, and then I had that 1 month where I decided like I'm not going to hit it, or I'm okay. I think it was like I'm okay if I don't hit it. And I had made that decision, and it didn't happen. And then I woke up and I was like, wow, I'm okay. Like,
yes,
still helping people,
mm-hmm.
still making a difference. But the difference is like, I'm actually not stressed. I feel good. The way my chest, like I'm, it doesn't make me any less, right? Like it didn't make me less of an amazing person or a less than coach, or it didn't make me less successful just because I didn't hit that goal. Because the goal we have to be honest with is that it wasn't my goal, right? That was a goal that was set by somebody else. It was a goal that said, hey, if you reach this every month, then you will reach success, then you will reach happiness. And that's not true for every single person. That might be somebody else, but for me, success had nothing to do with that number of how many people I helped that month. And it's beautiful to have those goals and to hold space for the people you want to help and serve. But there's a difference between holding space for people and forcing things on people so then you can reach people, so then you can fulfill yourself. And that's just what I feel like we were all in. And even though in that time we had good intentions and we were truly believing in what it is that we were doing, we can't deny that sometimes deep down we're not always doing it for the right reasons. And sometimes we're a little lost in our direction on what that looks like. And so for me, even though I was doing it for good intentions, I believed in it. I believed in the programs. I believed in nutrition. I believed in health and what it did for me. Like I lost over 50 pounds at home. I jumped right into the health and wellness industry. And, if you guys had followed me before you found me in this, I was teaching fitness classes 7 times a week. Like that was my life for a year, and I loved it. But before I got into it, it wasn't my stuff. And so I had this Olivia where I was so nervous showing, like, I don't know how many times I hid food in my jacket trying to bring it home, or trying to hide if I was out, or avoid certain restaurants, or like, I felt like I could not do anything. And that was a really big pressure for me to be on, and it was not a good space for me to grow. And so, yeah, that was, I can definitely relate to you on that. There was a moment where I think you wake up and you realize, hey, it's okay if this doesn't happen. Like, I can go on, because I think the underlying thing to remember is that, like, you guys set your boundaries, you guys set your standards, and we have a choice if we want to adapt the same standards and boundaries that other people have, or if we want to create our own. And so one day we decided to wake up and start to question, and this is what we want you guys to do, and we're going to help you do. But we want you guys to question everything. And I think in life it's like that, even in the things you're certain about, because things change, they shift, and you evolve. And it's good to question where you're at now, and if it feels aligned, and if it feels good, and like just get like really real with yourself. I think that was what I said earlier. Is like, just get real, like do a check, and like just like strip it away and get transparent with yourself. Like, don't sugarcoat it, and just, am I happy? Like, am I actually genuinely happy? Do I feel aligned? Does everything feel good? Do I feel low? Like, are all these things creating, are clients coming to me effortlessly, or am I forcing it? Like, I think that's the other thing. Like, are we forcing it? Because I felt like for a while I was forcing things. I had to force sales. I had to force people to come in. There was a period in time in my business at the beginning where people did come, and then it slowed down, and then I had to it, and it felt so authentic. And when I was disconnected, you get out of alignment.
Yeah. So true. I think the key piece there too, like you said, like stripping everything away. Like when I remember asking myself these questions or similar questions to this and journaling on it, I was terrified to feel what I was truly feeling, because for some reason I was like, oh my gosh, my upline's going to find out. Or even my success partner, who was feeling the same way, who's my business partner now, we were terrified to tell each other we were even feeling this way, because again, it had become known as like, this is not allowed to be talked about, or you're not allowed to feel this. So when you're doing this and when you're asking yourself these questions, make sure you're being super real with yourself and taking the filter off. And if you find yourself saying, well, a leader wouldn't feel this way, or I should feel this, or like I shouldn't feel this way, but like, no, strip that shit away and ask yourself, like, am I actually happy? And you might say yes, and that's freaking awesome. That's a really good way to be self-aware of like, yes, I'm going the right way. I'm in the right business. I'm doing the right thing. Or you might start to say like, no, I'm not. And your team's not going to see that. Your downline's not going to see that. Your upline's not going to see it. It's okay to just start looking at it for what it really is and recognizing it and asking myself, am I happy? Is this sustainable for me? Do I see myself still working this business and doing these things when I'm 40, when I'm 65? Do I still see myself doing this? Maybe yes, maybe not. There's no right or wrong here. There's no good or bad. It doesn't make you less than if you're feeling a certain way. We're not trying to sway you any certain way. Like, this is about you and becoming self-aware with what feels good for you. Getting real with yourself of, am I feeling fulfilled? Because like you said, Autumn, like you were hitting these goals and you did these things that you were supposed to do, but you weren't feeling fulfilled anymore. And I remember like I said at the beginning, like with income, I should be happy. I should feel good, but I didn't feel fulfilled because something was off. So getting into your journal every single day and spending 5 minutes, even 3 minutes, if that's all you have, of just being super transparent and like looking into your soul and saying, am I happy? Am I like still loving this? Because you guys, like, the powerful piece of this is like, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to choose again. And I remember feeling so scared about that. And like, it wasn't okay. But if I could go back and tell myself anything, what I would tell myself in this space, it was a year ago that I started having these feelings, is like, it's okay to choose again. You're a human, you're going to grow and evolve, and things will shift. For some people, they're going to shift in their own same space, and that's totally fine for them. But for you, it's okay to take the path of least resistance, or of like, I guess, most resistance, like taking that path. It's okay to choose that. It's okay to choose again. It's okay to change your brand and re-evolve online, right? Like, it's totally okay to do that. And we just want to give you guys, again, that safe space to start to have those real conversations with yourself.
I love that so much. There was actually a time, and I think I've told you guys this before. I've shared it a couple times, but there was a time where Derek came out into the living room and he just said to me, like, what are you scared? Like, why don't you believe in yourself? Like, what are you scared about? And what he was referring to is like, why don't you believe in yourself enough to strip everything away and just lead with yourself? And and we're not swaying you here, but it was a moment of me realizing that I was hiding behind a product. I was hiding behind a company. I was not letting me shine. And it's so important that you guys realize that you guys are your product. You are what you're selling. You are your energy. And we're going to get to that briefly. But when he asked me, he said, why don't you believe in yourself? He had tears streaming down his face. He was like really heartbroken that I was rating myself and I didn't believe in myself. And he could see that there was so much more in me that I wasn't. And I honestly looked at him and I said, I don't know. Like, I looked at him and I said, I have no answer for you. I don't know why I'm not owning it. I guess I don't believe in myself. I guess I feel that I'm not an expert. I guess I feel like I don't have enough experience, or because I have got to a certain point in the company that other people won't take me seriously, or that I'm not good enough, or, other people take advantage of me. So, like, why would anybody pay for me? And so I started to question myself even, and I started to realize, like, wow, I'm pushing myself down in the gutter. I'm not even recognizing my capabilities, and I'm hiding. And that was a really big shift, because it allowed me to see that I am so much more, and that I can step into something so much bigger. And it was okay for me to shift, and it was okay for me to grow and to see what the opportunity was for what it was. And so, yeah, it was something that I realized I needed to shift when he said this to me. So I think the underlying thing that I wanted to get to in a second here was talking about your energy and how this is so important for you guys. And in this space, as being entrepreneurs, being in an MLM, being a network marketing company, and I'll put a pause on for 2 seconds, because I think we need to talk about briefly the fact that this is your tool. And this is your product. It's your tool. And so this is what we're talking about when we're saying that you guys are your product, is that if you feel aligned and you start to question, you get into the center of, like, what am I here to serve? What am I here to do? What's my purpose? Like, what do I know? What do I want to share with the world? What do I want my legacy to be behind? What's my message? And when you can start to get clear about that, you can kind of start to give yourself permission to step into it. Like, you need to have that clarity before you can step into it. If you don't ask yourself questions, it's never going to just come to you. But as you start to figure out what it is that you love and what feels good to you and what you feel aligned with and what feels connected, it doesn't feel forced, but it lights you up, right? And that's what it's light, because it lights you up. It sparks something in you. You feel like you start to glow in a way. Like, you just feel amazing. I don't really know how to put it into words, but you just light up. And that's how you know you're really on the right path. You know you're in alignment. And when you can get into that space, you can start to assess what tool is right for me in this space. Yeah. And that's where, like, me and Olivia are right now, and where we want to kind of dive into with you guys, is because we both swore off network marketing. Like, we're both like, we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it again. This is not our space. We just want to brand us. We want to build our own personal businesses, and that's it. And I think it just came from kind of a stubborn space, a little bit of a traumatized space. But I'm really glad that we were both open and decided to ask questions. And we started to even question ourselves and evolve again, and decide, like, it's okay to question this. It's okay to evolve again and to go back on something we said we were going to do, and look at this from a different perspective. And so we're very similar in seeing that this is a tool. You guys, they say that basically any entrepreneur or wealthy entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, really has up to 7 streams of income, revenue. And I think this is something really important, because I looked at that one time and said, okay, that's cool, but, like, how? Right? It's like, 7, I only have a product. I don't get it. And then I started to realize, okay, so now in this space where I transitioned as the coach, life and business coach, and then as I started to do the healing with myself, as I started to get aligned into what it was that I was moving into, where I felt called to serve, what actually was my purpose in this world, and what I wanted to do, not just for, like, 5 years, but, like, for the next 40 years of my life, like, forever, right? Where I was really going to grow my craft and step into my brilliance. And when I healed that, and when I stepped into that, I started to, like, how I actually got into this space, I guess I can share that story briefly, is I just started to, again, realize I'm so over the hustle. Like, I'm so over hustling all the time and always being in hustle mode, and, like, launch season in my life. Like, I want to I want to enjoy life. I want to flow. I want to get into a space where running a business feels good. I'm not sacrificing everything all the time. It's okay to sacrifice, but like, you know, where you can't sacrifice your health and, you know, your priorities and stuff like that forever. And I started to question it. And then I found my coach, or our coach, Lauren. And we actually, initially, I just wanted to be in her space. And this is what we're going to get to about energy. I wanted to be in her space. I wanted to be in her energy. I seen her running her business from a really beautiful space. And at the time, I was like, how do I work with you? I want to get like in your energy. And she was like, you just need some oils. You need some oils and you can get lifetime coaching with me and we're going to work together. And she has like a process in how she does that and in her like VIP group. But I was like, this is beautiful. And so I joined and I allowed the oils. Just for anyone who doesn't know, we both are with doTERRA. And so I started using the oils just for myself. I wanted to tap into flow more. I wanted to tap into my spiritual flow and really use oils to ground myself more and just to tap into a space in me that like I was really disconnected from. And it helped me. Like it helped me on so many levels. I started to bring flow back into my life. Things just started to, like, clients were just attracting in, and like everything was coming from a very beautiful place. Everything that was creating or I was creating was coming from a space that felt good. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I have been waiting for. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that was a way of, you know, Lauren using a tool to grow her business, right? And this was like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, there is a different way. And everything happens for a reason, right? We had those questions and then we found this space because we were right? There was a more beautiful space where you can run this business. And so we both assessed on different levels and we've had conversations, like really transparent conversations. Is this the right, you know, path for us? Do we actually want to dive into oil? Like, do we want to run a network marketing business? Like, do we actually want an oil business? We've asked ourselves and like talked to each other about this. And, you know, for me, I knew that on a spiritual level, on a healing level, oils were genuinely helping me. And when as people were seeing me talk about them from a good space, because initially I had no intention on selling anything. I honestly was just going to be like, here, Laura, you can have everything. Like, I'll pass them on your way because I didn't want it. I really didn't want it. And I just started to see that they're helping me. And then organically, people started to see the shifts in my life. They were like, Autumn, I'm seeing this shift in you. I'm seeing your energy change. I'm seeing like, you know, you're healing these spaces. I don't know what it is, but I want to be in your energy. And I was like, okay, this is beautiful. So I'll share with you a little bit more about it. And people started to organically join the opportunity like that. I think in like 12 hours, like 3 people join. And I was like, wow, like this is organic growth. And it wasn't something that I had to force or feel icky about. And it feels good to me. And that's when I realized, wow, this is an alignment. It was a product and a tool that it wasn't like, that's not everything to me, but it's a tool and a product that helps enhance my experience as a coach and will help enhance the experience of my clients if they feel called to it. You know?
So true. Yeah, that's so beautifully said. And I think like for me, and to be totally transparent, I know that you and I have had this conversation, but there have been like signs, like warning signs for me of like going back into my old thought patterns in this MLM as it was for me in my last network marketing company. And I think the thing is like, you just have to be so self-aware and again, be so okay with talking about the hard shit that nobody wants to talk about of like, hey, like over here, like this doesn't feel good. And like having that open conversation with someone that can remind you like, okay, that doesn't feel good. What does feel good? How can we get to that flow? How can we do this? Or, you know, sometimes straight up, like you're overthinking it. Like Autumn has to tell me like, dude, just trust. Like, it's all happening exactly as it should, right? Life is rigged in our favor. And I truly believe that. And so for me, like being in a network marketing company, again, when I swore it off forever, I'm using it very differently. You know, before when I was in network marketing, all my eggs were in that one basket. It was like, that was my do or die, my like straight up, like going to the grave with this as my one stream of income. I think that the powerful thing that Autumn said with millionaires having 7 streams of income, realizing like, okay, now my coaching business, right? My life and business coaching business is ride or die. Like this is it. But like she said, my oils are simply a tool. If someone doesn't want to pay, for almost $400 to work with me a month, they have a way to get into my energy to be a part of what I'm creating and cultivating by simply starting to use oils themselves. There's no pressure there. There's no like, this doesn't feel good. There's no quotas that I'm trying to hit or ranks I'm trying to hit right now. I'm just doing what feels good. And I'm just figuring out, okay, how can I serve the masses? And there's only one of me, right? How can I serve the masses? There's only one of me. I can't work with 100 people one-on-one every single month because there's just not enough time in the day. So with network marketing, right, with these oils, here's a way that I can get people into my energy. I can love on them. I can encourage them. I can serve them in a way that feels really good. And it doesn't have to be like, that's it. Does that make sense? Like, I think the beautiful thing is that whatever network marketing company you are a part of or whatever business you are running, you get to decide how you run it. Don't allow the company or an upline or someone else to tell you how to run it because you are a completely different human than that person is. You can love on them. You can be like so obsessed with them. But at the end of the day, it has to feel in alignment for you. So when I was having these like freak out moments, Autumn's like, dude, trust, take a step back, breathe. She like talked me off the ledge a little bit and reminded me that like, I am the only one that determines in my network marketing company, in my coaching business, if I'm successful or not. I am the only one that determines if I am worthy or not. I am the only one that can remind myself I'm enough right as I am, even if nobody signs up this month, right? It's such a beautiful piece when you can take it away. You can look from an outside perspective and say, I am enough in this exact space that I am in right now. And who gives two hoots what it looks like from someone else's point of view, because who decided that they determine what is right or what's wrong or what makes you successful or not? Like, I call bullshit on that. And just, if you are going to get into another company or you are going to partner with something or whatever, you're going to use a tool in your arsenal, in your, one-on-one coaching business or group coaching business, like just remember that you are the only one that has to determine what the best next step is for you and what that looks like in running your business from a space of flow and what feels good for you. I hope some of that made sense. That was totally not even in our notes.
No, it makes sense. And like it brought up something for me too, is because what I hear, or I used to hear a lot, and I still will hear it, is this blame put on uplines. Well, my I didn't have an upline, so I couldn't be successful, or, my upline taught this and this and this. Yeah, okay, at a certain point, but at the same time, if you guys are choosing at any point to sign up and start running a business, you're choosing to be a CEO with nobody to ask other than other people around him or her at that same level or above that they are striving to be and be with. So there are so many incredible mentors, coaches, life coaches, business coaches, influencers, and people at your fingertips with courses, free content, membership sites, pages, groups at your fingertips. You are not limited. So if you're not getting support in your business and you're not getting the support in building your business the way that you want to, start asking questions, look around, because there are people, there's support, and there is other mentors out there who can guide you in the direction that you want to go, because a lot of them have also been in these shoes, right? They have been on this end where they have been in network marketing, just like us. It's not only have we been in network marketing, we soared off, back in it again, and we're doing it, and we're helping other women not only do the same thing in their network marketing businesses, but transition and a million other things with that, right? So it's important to remember that the power is in your hands.
Yeah.
And you have to take responsibility for your business as a CEO. What I would not sit here and be like, I don't know what to do today because nobody told me. My upline didn't tell me. I don't have my upline. I don't ask her shit. I really don't. I love her and I respect her time. I respect her energy. And as a leader, if I have a question, if I cannot find it, I will ask the group, but I do not go to her.
So true.
It's just something as a CEO, you have to be resourceful. You have to take it upon yourself. And if something's not working in the space you're in, you start looking, because if you're passionate, it doesn't mean that the tool isn't for you. It doesn't mean that the opportunity isn't for you, but you just might not be in the right zone on how you're sharing it. And so it's just look for some other outside sources and mentors that are.
I love that.
And where you want to be.
And I think too, the beautiful piece in that came up for me, which I know we're almost at an hour, so we should probably start wrapping up. But it's live in the gray. Like for me, I can be a very like all in or all out person. I'm very like black and white. I am very like, yes, I'm gung ho. I'm like balls to the wall, like how I was in my last company. Like I am bleeding blue till the day I freaking die. Or I'm like completely out and like anti, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. You can live and dance in the gray and in the middle ground of like believing in something so much, but not again, allowing your self-worth and how much you matter. And if you're successful, be determined based on that one thing, right? So for me, with oils, I have to remember now that I'm in an MLM again, that I'm running it as a space of this is my tool and this is another way to enhance my client experience. I have to remember that I'm living in the gray. And so if I can't get caught up in, I need to bring in this many people, I need to do this, because for me, not for everybody, for me, that is a trigger for me. And it will send me down a nasty spiral of back to crying myself to sleep, wondering and questioning my worth. And it's not worth it to me. So it's figuring out, again, how can I run this from a space that feels good, but dancing in the gray of it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be all in or all out. If your company is telling you that, it's bullshit. And I want you to really do some journaling around that on like, is this true for me? Because for my success partner or my teammate or my upline or the CEO, that might be very true for them. But is this all or nothing for me? And can I find a happy medium of using it, loving it, preaching about it, X, Y, Z, and still matter at the end of the day, even if I'm not on a leaderboard or I'm not like, reaching these other things that someone else set for me. So dance in the gray, own it. It doesn't have to be do or die, you guys. It really doesn't.
I love that so much. And you guys, it's that permission because, and we talked about this briefly before. We're going to try to wrap it up here as soon as possible for you guys because we are hitting that hour. I don't want to leave these few important points because they are crucial for you guys in moving forward. And I think it's important to remember that everything it is that you do, you are giving permission to other people to do as well.
Yeah.
So if you are for example, if you are running a network marketing business right now and you have a team and you are a leader, right? Even if you have one person and you are a leader, or you are a life coach, business coach, health coach, whatever it is that you're doing, and you are helping clients, you have people that are purchasing your services, showing up, and you're serving them, you are giving them permission based on what it is that you're doing. There is a difference. Preaching what you know is the right thing to do. Eat well, work out, get these things done, read personal development, and actually working out, eating well and reading personal development. There's a huge difference between being the person who's preaching and actually leading by example, because I heard that before, but it didn't actually sink into me what that meant. And in this space, when I transitioned, I seen even on a bigger scale how important it is that if I want to be teaching my clients, or I want to give my clients permission to enjoy their family and to honor their priorities and to make sure their spiritual practice is number one, possibly not talking till work till a certain time in the day, to shut off at night, to have social media days off, to actually like live, right? Woman first, boss second kind of thing. If I don't give them the permission by doing that first, then they're always going to be modeling what I'm doing. And that's not an energy people want to be in. And so when you're honoring your energy, that's what people are looking to you for, right? If there's anybody that you guys follow, whether it's an influencer, a coach, a mentor, you're following them, purchasing their products because there's something about them that you want more of, right? You want their energy, you want their passion, you want their vibrancy, their energy, like whatever it is, if it's like their vibe in general, or the fact that they're energetic and they're alive in the day, or they're, maybe they have good skin or complexion. There's usually something about them, and it's a feeling. You get a vibe from them and you're just like, I need to be in your energy. But why they have this energy is because every day they're actually honoring it, right? They're healing themselves. They're paying attention to their spiritual practice. They're making their own health and non-negotiable. They're honoring their money and their body by, and their vessel, which is love, and they're, with eating good food and doing things that light them up and spending time with their family and their friends and, honoring these priorities, not draining themselves till they are totally like on empty. And so they were doing that, where are they going to get clients from? Because every client's going to look at that and say, oh my God, I don't want to be that. I don't want to work 15 hours a day. I don't want to sacrifice everything in my life. I can't, this isn't the right fit for me. So how you're living is what you're giving people permission to do. And so it was really big for me in this shift in setting goals and my daily to-do list. It's like, what's my energy? What are people coming to me for? Like, what do I need to honor to attract in, what people want more of in their life? Like, I need to be and lead by example in that way of honoring my energy that other people want, because I'm giving permission. Like, I'll be damned if I give permission to my clients to not shut off from social media, to, live in their inbox, to give everything away for nothing, and, to just sacrifice their own health and well-being. Like, I can't do that. And so I have to make sure that those are the top things on my list, because when I honor that, people are like, Autumn, you're so energetic. Like, can you tell me how you've done this? I'd love to work with you. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah. Beautifully said, for sure. And you guys, like, it's also operating in integrity, because I know for me, like, anytime there's a disconnect in what I'm wanting or what I'm like writing in my journal that I'm manifesting, and then what's actually coming to me, is there's a disconnect there in the way that I am showing up. So, right, if you are someone who is like, yes, like your soul time in the morning, like make sure, you're using your oils and you're doing these things and you're doing your yoga and you're not checking social media till 12 o'clock when you clock in for the day, or XYZ, whatever your thing is. I sing that a lot, XYZ. I don't know why. Whenever you're preaching, this like, this self-care routine, or you're preaching, if you're a health and fitness coach, you're preaching working out 5 days a week and loving your body, but in the mirror, you're hating your body. And on the other side, you're not doing your morning practice and you're rolling out of bed, half-assed looking at your phone, scrolling social media, but you're saying you're not. You're out of integrity. And like that immediately completely affects your energy. And someone's going to feel that when you message them or when you show up, and they're going to feel like, this doesn't feel authentic to me. Something feels off here, and there's a disconnect there. So make sure that the things that you are saying, and it's, my clock says, well, it's not actually 1:11. My clock's slow, but it says 1:11 in the corner. Love it. Hello. But anyway, so you have to make sure you are honoring the things that you are preaching and you're actually living them out. The whole be, do, have thing. You have to be it. You have to do it before you have it. So like, what is it that you're putting out that you're attracting back? And if you're not liking what's attracting back to you right now, then maybe shift something. And maybe it isn't your company, right? Like, maybe it is simply shifting your to-do list or shifting your priorities or resetting boundaries and letting your clients know, like, listen, I love you, but because I don't want you to live in your inbox, I will also not be living in my inbox. Here's, maybe you get the same questions all the time. I know I get a lot of that same FAQs. So I have a podcast that I share. I take FAQs and I say, that is a great question. I get that a lot. Here's a great podcast for you to listen to where I answer that. Or sending them to a YouTube channel where you have this FAQ section of all the questions you get all the time. Or freaking hiring an assistant who can have a template that when those same questions come through, they're answering them for you, right? Like you have to teach people how to treat you. So and I do have another call at 1:10. So if you want to keep riffing, I can always exit out too. But like, I feel like we could go all night.
I know. That's the thing is, especially if we open up for questions and comments, like we really could go on and on and on for hours. And I think this is such a beautiful topic. I think the only last thing that I wanted to end on was just tapping on what she just said, was remembering that, like, just do that inner check if you're receiving people being, not wanting to invest in you, or being cheap, or, not showing up and being 100% authentic, or like, just they're not showing up their best self, right? They're not showing up with 100% energy in your space. Look at where it is that you're giving that, because we always get what we put out. So I think other than that, that's pretty much it. But because I want to make sure we honor your time and you get your call. But there's some amazing comments on here, you guys. We so appreciate you jumping on.
So true.
Jennifer said, I used to be in an MLM that was actually created by a woman and Christian based. And when I joined, I thought it hit the MLM jackpot until I was in it for a little more than 3 years, and it beat the crap out of me. Yes, like we all can hit, even when we have passion at first place, if we can't find that other, ground where we feel, good and aligned in all areas of our life, it can be us, right? And then
so true. Yeah. And I think the key piece with that too, a little bit, like, you guys, when we say alignment, it doesn't mean like only doing things that feel good forever. Like, there is discipline in that. There is things you're going to have to do, right? You're going to have to pay your taxes. Like, that doesn't feel good for anybody, but like, you're going to have to pay your taxes. You're going to have to, like, do some things that require you to just like do the damn thing. And there is some of that masculine energy that does have to be there. But again, if it's in alignment, you are already so in alignment or in line with the end vision and what this is going to bring you and the feelings that you are creating and the clients that you're serving and whatever it is, like you're going to do it anyway, but you're going to find a space of like, I don't necessarily want to do this part, but I'm okay with it. And it can feel good for me because I know what it's going to get me to.
100%. It's one of those, like, it might not feel good while you're doing it, but you're going to feel freaking amazing after you've done it.
Yes.
It's going to push you into the further direction where you got to go. Even if it's your taxes, you got to do it because you're going to feel better after, and it's going to make you feel like you got your shit together and like you're it, and like you're gonna do better for it after. So
I love that.
It looks like you guys are loving this topic and you feel super aligned and that like you guys really connect on this level. And so we really appreciate you hopping on. And if any of you guys watch the replay or if anything else we said hit home, if you have any more questions, anything that we can answer for you to help, because I know that there's so much to talk about. And
so much.
Got a little bit of here and there to share our stories and insight, and like there's so much we can talk about. So if there's anything you want to hear more about, maybe we can do another video. But yeah, just post it below. We'd love to help you. So
Part 2, yeah, for sure.
make sure you guys go subscribe to Olivia's podcast, okay?
Oh, thanks, guys.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And yeah. Anything
Cool.
else? Good?
No, I mean, I would say, yeah, just thank you guys so much. I know that was long, but when we get riffing and we just want to share, I mean, we want to be the vehicle that is reminding you it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling and to explore that, not just stuff it under because it's like a beach ball underwater. Like the more you stuff it down, eventually it's going to explode in your face. Not cute. So make sure you guys are feeling the things that you're feeling. Find accountability. Find someone safe that you can talk to. If it's us, it's us. If it's not, whatever. But find someone that you can talk about this with and then go through it. And if you have questions, like you said, I mean, comment them below. We'd love to come back in and answer, share our pieces on them. I mean, we obviously have a similar experience, but also very different perspectives. And so we can always try to help in that way too. But yeah, just thanks for hanging out, guys. It was fun.
No, I love that so much, you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on and thank you for listening. And we really do hope that this gives you the permission to just shine in whatever light it is that lights you up and know that regardless of where it is that you're going and shifting into, you're supported and you have a safe slate, or you have a safe slate. Oh my goodness. I can't talk. You have a safe space. There we go. Not splace.
I love it.
Cut it off. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for hopping on.
Bye, guys.